you so much for having me here today. I'm so exceptionally grateful. I graduated from these walls 27 years ago, so I understand where everyone's coming from. What is an epiphany? For some, it is about faith, an unlocking of a desire, or even a chance meeting with someone who changes your whole perspective on life. Imagine sitting in class or at your desk, and suddenly you feel something hit you in your gut. And something starts churning in your stomach and in your insides. It's scary and fundamentally can be quite nauseating. But it was at these moments that I quickly learned that this feeling is where my epiphanies lay dormant. So how did I wake up and shake up? I learned to feel the burn in my stomach, which led me to take risks. And then when that burning desire to do something punches you, that's when you know that the beginning of an epiphany actually surfaces. Most of us, and I know I was like this, try and shake it off and just move on like robots in our very comfortable world. Risks are the part of us that make us feel uncomfortable, and this is so normal. I say normal because there have been a few times where I'd actually have to run to the bathroom to relieve myself of these pains, which actually led me to thinking outside of the box, or the seat, if you will. It has always been very clear to me that every time I made a decision to do something out of my comfort zone, an epiphany was on the horizon. Now some people ask me or say to me, Pashmina, you make it sound so easy. You listen to your gut, you take the risk, and then boom, you go for it. However, there is an added element into the whole equation, which definitely gets you towards your epiphany much faster. And that is the power of gratitude. When we take simple things for granted, we can never reach the bigger things. For example, my family and I, we try and write a gratitude list every single day. We choose to be thankful for the smaller things in life, so that when you get the big things, we're even more in tune with how we got there. Unlocking our subconscious through meditation, yoga, manifesting, and gratitude are the secret ingredients to getting what you really want. So be careful what you ask for, and never ever underestimate the power of prayer and a plan. Intuition, like I discussed previously, goes hand in hand with epiphanies. Listen to your heart, listen to your own voice, take charge of what your body, mind, and soul is trying to teach you, and go from there. I definitely learned the hard way. Here you see my daughter in the NICU at 3 months. During this hard time in my life, I didn't listen to my intuition at all. As a matter of fact, I felt like I was fighting with the nurses, the doctors, my family, and most of all, I was beating myself up over the situation. I would cry and wonder, why me? I felt shame, blame, guilt, and all of the negative emotions that come with spiraling downwards, until I had that churning feeling in my stomach again. And the midwife at the hospital came up to me one day and said, day by day, Pashmina, day by day. Day by day? What did that mean? What did that exactly mean? I did think I was living day by day, entering the hospital doors at 5 a.m., singing to my baby every morning, giving dirty looks to the nurses when they wouldn't rush over fast enough as the heart monitor beat out of sync. I mastered the art of causing panic just by my vibration in the NICU. I would then eat my lunch, sit at the hospital some more, and at 11 p.m., make my way home. I'd try and sleep and do the same thing over again, every day by day, right? How was I not living day by day? And then she said, one day, you might come in here and she may not be here. I looked at her, puzzled, and not hearing what she was saying. And in my arrogant, selfish tone, I said, what do you mean? She won't be here in this room? Are you moving her somewhere else? The midwife chuckled and said, here, with us, on this earth. At that moment, I felt like a truck had collided into my chest and my heart exploded into 1,000,000 fragments. I couldn't breathe as I felt every part of my body shake with absolute fear. A cascade of tears fell from my eyes, and the sobbing from the depths of my heart was like an ache in my chest. I felt like an elephant was sitting on top of me. I began to hyperventilate and almost fainted. She held me in her arms and hugged me tightly, and the midwife said, now is all we have. Michelle, my baby that you see up there, was my first epiphany. The little baby who looked like an alien was staring back at me on life support with tubes all about her body. And my gut started to churn. I felt nausea and needed to rush to the bathroom. When I got home that night, I couldn't sleep. I looked around my room and noticed things that I hadn't before, like the beautiful flowers painted on the wallpaper, or a little note that my husband had left for me, telling me how much he loves me, or the beautiful view of the sky from the bedroom. I had taken everything around me for granted. The midwife was right. All I really had was now, and all I could do was focus on the moment, and that was excruciatingly difficult. But I listened and tried desperately to imagine this baby all grown up, by my side and thriving. Yet all I was faced with was tubes. I took a deep breath, accepted what I could not control. I'm not God, and I didn't have any say whether this baby would live or not. All I could do is have absolute faith that someone, somewhere out there was listening to me. But how if all my self-talk was full of darkness and negativity? No wonder the little baby wasn't thriving. Every day, instead of crying, I sat down and journaled my thoughts. I talked to myself through words on paper. And the first thing I did was to thank every single person around me who helped me in my daughter's survival. The writing became a source of healing. I was transported by my own thoughts, and suddenly I began to write and write and write. I felt a calling and used the writing to pave the way for a new life for myself. Every day, I did not cry and tried to control my circumstances. I would sit at the hospital coffee shop and imagine characters in my mind, made-up characters, who talked about their lives and who tried to figure out some simple spiritual truths. And that is where my book, The Cappuccino Chronicles, was born. Without a doubt, my inner resilience became steadfast and strong. I felt like I was suddenly made of something more than sugar and spice and everything nice. Well, not always nice. I felt like I was made of steel and nothing was going to affect me. And slowly but surely, the little premature baby began to grow and show me that life can change and our course can change by a small shift in my thinking. Today, I can say that I have 2 beautiful daughters. Both are thriving, and both have taught me the importance of following my dreams and making a difference in the world. My book has taken on a life of its own, and I thank the midwife at the hospital 16 years ago who came to my rescue and with a single sentence changed my whole perspective on life. Today, the book is an international bestseller. I have traveled around the world talking about my books, inspiring people, and giving them hope that there is magic in the power of intuition and the written word. Just last month, I had my second biggest epiphany when I was invited to meet His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. I met a wonderful author who invited me on this pilgrimage to the north of India. Her book, I Am Winning, A Guide to Personal Empowerment, has also been a true inspiration in my life. Her generosity, by including me on this pilgrimage, gave me a sense of humility and gratitude for being invited to this auspicious event. It was because of my first epiphany, writing my books, and the ripple effect of trusting in something much bigger than my tiny little mind that the opportunity to meet the Dalai Lama was presented to me. His blessings touched my soul as I handed him my book. He looked at me as if to say, "Be good." Somehow he knows me. I do try, and I'm still working on myself. I believe that we are all works in progress, and meeting him has given me hope that the resilience I choose to have comes from being fearless as well as grateful. The Dalai Lama once said, "To conquer oneself is a greater victory than to conquer thousands in battle." And this has been the hardest lesson for me to learn. And I am still learning every day that intuition is my biggest guide. And when opportunity knocks, you open the door, even when you feel like you have to go to the bathroom. So be grateful. Take heed of those feelings in your gut and never ever second guess yourself. Once you have mastered the art of looking beyond what's in front of you and seeking your own authentic self, the world will unravel into a series of epiphanies that you will no doubt catapult into the unknown. Be brave, practice commitment, and most of all know that the present moment is actually all we truly have. Thank you.